Have you ever felt like you're two different people living in the same body? One day, you feel this incredible clarity, this deep understanding of what you want and where you're going. You feel motivated, aligned, ready to take on the world. And then the very next day, you find yourself doing the exact opposite. You choose comfort over challenge, distraction over focus. You want meaning, but you escape the effort it requires. This inner contradiction, this back and forth, can be incredibly frustrating. It's so easy to look at this pattern and see it as a personal flaw. We label ourselves as inconsistent, weak, or undisciplined. We think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just stick to what I know is right? But what if I told you this isn't a defect? What if this inner tug-of-war is not a sign that you're broken, but a fundamental part of your design as a human being? The truth is, every one of us lives with more than one inner movement. Think of them as two powerful currents flowing within you. One movement is all about preservation. Its primary job is to keep you safe. It seeks comfort, familiarity, and security. This is the part of you that craves the known, that pulls you back to the cozy couch when you know you should be working out. It reacts instantly to any form of discomfort, physical, emotional, or mental, and its goal is to restore a sense of balance as quickly as possible. It's your internal survival mechanism, always on alert. Then there's the other movement. This one is oriented toward direction. It's the part of you that yearns for growth, for meaning, for a life aligned with your deepest values. This movement is quieter, slower, and far less dramatic than the first. It doesn't scream for attention. Instead, it whispers. It is the part that sees beyond the immediate gratification of the moment and looks toward a larger, more meaningful future. It's the quiet voice that nudges you to learn, to create, to connect, to become more of who you truly are. Now, here's the crucial part. These two movements exist at the same time. One doesn't replace the other as you get older or wiser. They're not sequential stages you pass through. They are both active right now, inside of you. This is the very source of that inner struggle. It's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because something incredibly real and dynamic is happening within you. The conflict you feel is the tension between these two fundamental drives. This is often where people get stuck. They believe that once they have a breakthrough, once they understand this concept, the struggle should just disappear. They think, I see it clearly now, so why do I still feel pulled back into old habits? But understanding doesn't magically erase the structure. You can understand gravity completely, but it won't stop you from falling if you step off a ledge. The movement toward comfort isn't some childish phase you're supposed to outgrow. It's a vital part of what keeps you functioning, especially when life gets stressful or overwhelming. It's your emergency brake. It protects your energy and resources. And on the flip side, the movement toward growth isn't always a walk in the park. It doesn't always feel good or rewarding in the moment. Sometimes choosing growth feels heavy. It can feel lonely. The path can be unclear and filled with uncertainty. This is precisely why the struggle persists. It's not because you failed to apply what you learned. It's because these two movements are answering two very different but equally valid needs. One answers the fundamental need for safety and preservation. The other answers the deeper need for purpose and meaning. They are both essential parts of the human experience. Think about what happens when life throws a curveball at you. When you're under intense pressure, when you're stressed, exhausted, or facing a crisis, which movement do you think gets louder? Naturally, the system prioritizes safety. The comfort-seeking, preservation-oriented movement takes center stage. Its voice becomes urgent, demanding, and incredibly convincing. It tells you to retreat, to play it safe, to choose the path of least resistance. This is not a moral failure. It's not a sign of weakness. It is a biological and psychological protective mechanism kicking in. It's how your system shields itself from being overwhelmed. The real mistake isn't having this reactive response. We all have it. The mistake is letting that sense of urgency take over the leadership of your life. Urgency has a very specific way of speaking. It's fast, loud, and frames everything as an immediate crisis. It demands a decision right now, pushing you to act without perspective, without considering the long-term consequences. Direction, on the other hand, speaks quietly. It's patient. It rarely shouts or demands. It offers an invitation. It waits to be consciously chosen. It trusts that you will eventually hear its call. The key isn't to silence the voice of urgency or to eliminate the drive for comfort. The key is to decide which voice gets to be in the driver's seat. Both movements are allowed to exist. They both have a place, but only one is meant to lead. When the reactive, comfort-seeking movement is in charge, life tends to feel chaotic and unstable. Decisions are rushed, driven by fleeting emotions. You might find yourself bouncing from one quick fix to another, always reacting to the latest fire instead of building something solid. Clarity fades, and you feel like you're just trying to keep your head above water. But when the deeper, direction-oriented movement is allowed to lead, something incredible happens. The reactive movement doesn't vanish. It doesn't go silent. Instead, it settles. It takes its rightful place as a passenger, not the pilot. It follows instead of commanding. It becomes a useful advisor, warning you of real dangers, but it no longer dictates your every move. This shift in internal leadership doesn't just happen once and for all. It's not a finish line you cross. It's a practice. It happens repeatedly, in small moments, every single day. True internal strength isn't measured by a life free from struggle. It's proven by your ability to return. To return to your chosen direction after a moment of confusion. To return after a reactive outburst. To return after a period of forgetting who you want to be. Each time you make that choice, each time you gently guide yourself back to your path, you are strengthening that internal structure. It's like building a muscle. Over time, with practice, something important begins to change. The struggle itself doesn't necessarily end, but your relationship to it transforms. It becomes familiar. It feels less personal, less catastrophic. You stop looking in the mirror and asking, "What is wrong with me?" And you start recognizing, this is one of those moments. This is a moment where I get to choose my direction. You don't need to feel perfectly strong to do this. You don't need to feel completely clear. You only need to remember one simple truth. Urgency is not authority. Just because a feeling is loud doesn't mean it's wise. And discomfort is not failure. Just because the path of growth feels hard doesn't mean you're on the wrong track. The struggle you feel inside is not a sign that your life is collapsing. It's not evidence of your shortcomings. It is evidence of formation. It is the sign that something new is being built within you. It's the friction of growth. And when you stop fighting the fundamental structure of who you are, when you accept that both of these movements have a role to play, that very structure begins to support you. Not by giving you a life of perfection or ease, but by giving you something far more valuable, a steady, meaningful direction. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this. Remember to be kind to yourself on the journey.